Isn't this weird to see? I haven't sat in front of a camera in almost a month. Me disappearing off the face of YouTube for a month and coming back with the type of video I've never done before is kind of crazy. I'm aware. This video is almost a month late because I started school. Stress, 15 credit hours, 5 classes, never taken. Please help me. I got sick. So here we are. Welcome to my summer 2022 reading wrap up. I started this off in May and made it all the way to August because that's when my summer was personally. I read kind of a lot of books this summer. I started the summer off with a banger. I finally read Good Girl Bad Blood. This is the second book of the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. I haven't read the third yet because I'm waiting for it to get on paperback so I can finish my collection. But basically, if you don't know what this is, this girl, her name is Pip. She's in high school. She started her senior exam by trying to solve a murder. That's the first book. Then this second book, she's also trying to figure out a mystery that just isn't correct. Somebody goes missing and she is on the case. And of course, she's up to her usual antics. This is a very good sequel. I literally could not put this down. Very short chapters, very good pacing, very quick, upbeat, my type of book because I have a short attention span. And in my personal opinion, this has a different feeling, like different type of thriller feeling compared to the first book. This has more of like a lingering, just kind of like mystery versus thriller in my opinion. And the plot twist in here kind of just was like, okay, like it was still good, but it just doesn't compare to the first one. I would give this, at the time of reading this, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Now if I probably had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it like a 3.9 or 3.8. So basically a 4 out of 5. This was a really good start. It definitely started a very good reading month because this is all in May. We're in May right now. So the second book I read in May was While We Were Dating by Jasmine Gilroy. This was a very interesting read. Man who never does casual dates meets movie star, good for PR. They start to get to know each other, this, that, and the third. This book was very weird with pacing from what I can remember. And the way that the plot just kind of lays itself out, it's just kind of like, how did we get here? There is in fact some adult scenes in this, which is what I was not expecting, especially when they happen. So a fair warning for that. It was okay, it was cute, kind of long. This has almost 400 pages, so it's kind of a thickie for me personally. This is kind of like semi-dual point of view, not enough to the point where I was like, oh yes, I know exactly what's going on at all times, but there was like some dual point of view parts in here, so it was pretty cool just to switch it up a little bit. But yeah, I would give this like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was cute little romance, nothing too crazy, predictable except the sex scenes. The next book I read was the xhex by Erin Sterling. Now this was a pretty not out of pocket, but like random pick considering it was the summertime. If I could go back and read this during September, October, November when it's fall time, I would, because this book is just basically about this girl who accidentally hexes her ex and now they're trying to undo it. It's very cute. It's the pacing's cool. From what I remember, this book, I definitely didn't like sit down and had to read through the whole thing, but I definitely was intrigued with it, so it kept me going. It was fun. It was a fun read. Think of like Halloween Town, but they be having sex. Wasn't something I was expecting to have sex scenes in, but don't ever judge a book by its cover. This was definitely fun to read, but I definitely don't see myself reading it again, and for that I'm probably gonna give it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's very easy to read, very easy to digest and everything, but it's definitely just like a one and done type of thing. And after a little bit, it felt a little bit dragged out, I'm not gonna lie, but it was still a very fun read. So 3/3.5 out of 5 stars for this one. Very cute though. It's fun. Then I had to. This is the Summer I Turned Pretty series. My thoughts on this series. Let's start with the first book, okay? Maybe I should give you like a summary. There's this girl, her name is Isabella. They call her Belly. I don't like her name choice, but I digress. And she goes to visit these family friends, Conrad and Jeremiah, for the summer in their beach house. And she lives her best life, but she's in love with one of the brothers, and it starts drama. And because they only see her as a little sister. Interesting dynamic, sure. This book is so easy to read. It's fun. It screams summer beach house, pools. You can smell the salt in the water as you're reading. Chapters short as hell. Very good pacing and made me not want to put down. I actually finished this in one sitting. Then we get into the second book. This book deals with grief, depression, death. The second book was my least favorite. The pacing was just kind of weird. I feel like this was just kind of filler. I know that's kind of rude to say because somebody literally dies, but it just kind of felt like filler. filler, and I feel like it had the same kind of pacing as the first one, but for some reason this one felt a little bit more dragged out and just kind of like, okay, still a really good read though. I definitely recommend. I felt like I was just having a little bit more trouble connecting with the characters, and the pacing once again was just kind of weird. It wasn't too different from the first one, but there definitely is grief in here. I feel like this book is in fact skippable. It's cute. I give it a 3 out of 5. Okay, like I didn't hate it. Like I'm glad I read it with the series, but if you're just looking for something to get through that'll make you want to read again, I wouldn't recommend this one. I didn't really feel too much story progression with this one, so that's why it's my least favorite out of the series. We're gonna get to the best one out the series. This is We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. I didn't even say the book names. Can you tell I've never done a book video in my life? This is It's Not Summer Without You. This is We'll Always Have Summer. These are all by the same author. This is actually the author who wrote To All the Boys I Loved Before, which I haven't read yet, but I definitely want to. This was my favorite out of the series. I give it a 4.8 out of 5. I finished this in one sitting. And when I was reading this, I was going through my Frank Ocean Pilot Jones era. So like that was the only song I would listen to. So now every time I hear that song, I just see Conrad, Belly, and Jeremiah. In this one, there's kind of a time jump and there's drama between Isabella and Jeremiah, who she's currently dating. And it's just drama, 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 the house down boots. And I love it. And I think this is my favorite because it has the most drama and it feels the most fast paced and you never really know what's going to happen. Like you kind of already know, like it's kind of predictable based on if you like read the other two books, like what's gonna happen. But it was still fun and I like fun within books. So good. I finished this in literally like less than 6 hours. Like when I tell you I was flipping through these pages like my life depended on it. In this one, there was actually different point of views and the time jumps that they included were literally perfect. It was so well written, easy to digest. I like very easily digestible and fast-paced books with, you know, that's just like what I enjoy. And then you throw the drama into it. Oh! It's up. I kind of wish the time jump was a little bit bigger though because it's only 2 years from the last book. I kind of wish it was more like 4 to 7 something in there. I feel like it would make more sense, but I digress. And this made me feel every emotion possible, which doesn't exist often. Oh, I forgot a book. Hold on. Funny story. I actually picked up People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I actually DNF'd this on page 24. I don't know what it was, but I will be revisiting it because the way people talk about it, you would think Shakespeare literally wrote this book himself. And I just thought I should put that in here because I have a few DNFs from this summer. Next book that I picked up in May, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Also highly rated by the girlies. Don't know why, because I DNF'd it on page 42. I read All About Us like last year and it reminded me of that. If you've read it, you kind of know what's going on, but I don't know. I really wasn't feeling it. The chapters are short, the pacing's okay, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm mad I got it in hardcover though, because I wanted it in soft and this was expensive just for me not to finish it. But I'm gonna try to revisit these two. So I will be including DNFs if I do videos like this because I feel like it's realistic. I'm not about to sit up here and lie to you and be like, oh, I finished everything. Girl, no, you didn't. So yeah, these are my 2 DNFs for May. In June, we kind of got a slower pace because I started my internship and everything, and these kind of put me in a reading slump. So I only read 3 books in June, but we're gonna start with the banger. I read this godforsaken peach of literature. This is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I have vivid memories of what it was like reading this, and they're not very good. Like, they're not very good. Basically, if you don't know what this book is about, it's about this girl. Her name is Lily. She meets this guy, literally turns left. She's in a very terrible relationship and things kind of start looking bad for her. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And then she meets her first love and she writes stupid letters to Ellen DeGeneres. I can't make this shit up. Pacing in this was very weird, very uncomfortable. This book didn't make me feel anything besides like, what the heck is actually going on? Like, every time it was an emotion, it was a negative one, because it was either like, what the hell is going on? Be for real, or stop talking. Not a very good impression for Miss Hoover, who y'all praise like there's no tomorrow. I wanted to understand the hype, but I didn't. But the way the book is just kind of written and shaped and everything, it's just like, I'm not sure if this was the right way to execute this type of trope. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a really good like idea and something I feel like it needs to be talked about. It's basically trigger warning about abuse and domestic violence. But the way that it's set up is just like, no. Like, comparing your old lover to your new lover is just, I don't know, I didn't like it. That's Okay, and I kind of got more of a like kind of are you serious? I like the cute moments. I will say, if this does become a movie adaptation, I can see Jacob Elordi playing Rye 100%. Don't ask me how. I can also see Lucy Hale playing Lily. That's what I saw. That's what I thought. I don't care about any descriptions in books. Something you will learn is that if I see somebody as a character, as a celebrity, like as a character, that's who I'm gonna see. I don't care about no description. And I can also see, if you know Zeth on TikTok, play Atlas. Is that his name? Atlas or Axel? I forgot. This was way darker than I thought it would be, which is typical apparently for Colleen Hoover. Cause baby, what? I also never felt extremely emotionally attached to the characters. It was just very hard. But shout out to this girl who DM'd, her name is Jordy. She said she appreciated the story, but it just wasn't her favorite, and I can say the same. I will say, the last thing I will say is that the writing style just really made this story feel shallow, and I think that's my problem. I don't like bashing things, but I gave this a 2 out of 5. I would not read this again. Quite frankly, I want to sell it. I don't, whatever. Moving on to the next one. It ends with us actually put me in a pretty deep reading slump, so I needed something to rise my spirits. So I picked up Happily Ever Afters by Elise Bryant. This is the cutest book I have ever read in my life. Basically, this girl, Tessa, just moved to a new town. Tessa is also a writer, and she needed some inspiration, so that's why she was looking for love in the first place. She meets new people. She's trying to fit in. She thinks she wants this boy, but she's wrong. And she ends up falling in love with somebody else, and she doesn't even realize it until it's time. It's time to open that package up. I love the trope. Like, I'm sorry, but the trope is just so good and it's so fun. I love it. I love when people come to the realization that what they need is right in front of them, but they can't see it until such and such happens. I love it. It's good. It's excellent writing. I don't care how many times the trope is done. It's good. This story was so cute. It had me kicking my feet, blushing, twirling my hair. I got put back into my 16-year-old mind, because I think Tessa's 16. Yeah, she's 16. Love it. It definitely integrated contemporary topics properly, especially being a black girl in predominantly white areas. They definitely did that properly, and I feel like they did it perfectly. This book is good. Like, it's really good. I would read it again, which is rare, but I would read it again. The plot is fun, it's relatable, and it's cute. I love cute, relatable, and fun with a hint of doing contemporary topics properly, okay? I don't know if this makes any sense. I'm gonna keep comparing these characters to people that are like famous already, but if you've read this, I can see Sam, which is her neighbor, to be Sinjin from Victoria. Don't ask. That's who I saw I was reading this. And Jessie from Hannah Montana playing Nico, her original love interest. No, I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love this. This book is so cute. Please go pick it up if you want to feel things and blush and kick your feet and twirl your hair. I feel like it was definitely one of the best books I read in June, considering the next one that's coming up. Next book I read, y'all were saying, oh, you'll love Verity. You'll love Verity. I love y'all to death, but y'all steered me wrong twice now with Colleen Hoover. I feel like it just has to do with Colleen Hoover's writing style, because this book also felt very shallow to me, and it was hard to connect with anybody, and it was extremely predictable, and that's fine. Predictability is cool in books. You just have to do it properly and make up, not like make up for the predictability, but I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. It was just extremely predictable. It felt very shallow. The ending ruined it for me. That long letter, yeah, go to hell. That ruined it. If you're going to be a part of mess, you need to stay within your word, okay? You need to stick with your antics if that's what you're going to be doing. And that's all I'm gonna say on that, because the ending really did irritate me. Like, it really irritated me. The ending, like, I already didn't like it. It could have been done better, but the letter, the concept is cool, but it was just kind of like a, like, okay, like, you could definitely skip it in my opinion. I've noticed with Colleen Hoover is that she really hooks me in the beginning, but then the story just kind of mellows out and fades out in my interest, and it's just like, okay, all right. When is this gonna be done? I gave this a 3 out of 5. I definitely like this more than It Ends With Us, but I definitely still would pass it. That's just my 2 cents though. Colleen Hoover, you're probably just not for me, so I'm sorry for bashing you on live television and YouTube. This is not television. I'm sorry for bashing you on YouTube, but I don't want to bash you, but I guess your writing style just isn't for me. Now, you guys also told me to read Ugly Love, and I saw something on Twitter about big balls, and now knowing that that is from Ugly Love, I don't know if I want to read it. I have it bought. You guys said give her one more chance, so I will eventually down the road when I can work my way up to it. But for right now, I think I'm going to pass and choose Peace. And in July, I was still in my reading slump from Miss Hoover. I got through 2 books, and they were actually pretty good. I actually read Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. This story is, I didn't even tell you the summary of this, whatever. You're gonna have to work with me. These are all pretty popular books. You can read the back, it's fine. But this book is about this girl named Lena, and she's moving to Italy because her mom, trigger warning, passed away, and she's trying to find out her real roots and who her father is. Mystery, love interest, different area. I love Italy. I've been to Italy once and I will be going back because it's fun. I like fun. If you've ever been to Italy, you can really connect with the places that she's going to, especially the tourist attractions, and that kind of creates a more sense of connection. In my opinion, like, it just creates more like depth within the story, and I think it's fun. I don't know, it's just a fun book. It's a very easy and digestible read, definitely very cute. This was more romantic driven than mystery, which I was not expecting. I say as the title is literally love and gelato, am I losing it? Very cute story, very cute plot, very well paced, and definitely just a good time. They use the title in the story, so like if you ever watch like The Walking Dead and Rick is like, we are the Walking Dead, they pulled a love and they did that in this book, and it irritated me and it knocked a 0.5 off of the rating because stuff like that makes me itch. But that's just me being picky. Typical aliyah behavior, of course. It was very fast paced, couldn't put it down. It was just the pacing is a little odd, like the time jumps and like when things happen is a little weird, but you know, it's cool. I give this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's cute. I recommend if you're interested for a little summer read, a little getaway. The next thing I read in July was actually The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is cute. I'm sorry. This was good. Trigger warning, grief. This book is about this girl. What's her name? Her name is Shay. This girl named Shay literally works at a radio station and it's dying and they need a way to save it. So she literally pairs up with her most hated coworker to do a podcast about their relationship that never existed. Drama in the office. They start falling for each other and drama and shit hits the fan. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. This was hard to put down. There definitely is smut in here, but I will say something that was done very, 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 very well. I love the amount of relatability and issues that are in this book because I think Shay is in like her early 30s or late 20s, one of them, and she always talks about kind of issues she has with like being an adult and trying to figure things out. Like I know in the book she talks about constantly she bought a house and she never feels like it's full, and she always feels like there's something going wrong, and she's constantly going wrong in life. Like she can't even get her house decorated, filling voids with pets and relationships and let down. Like that is the like, Rachel, you hit the nail on the head. This book is so fun. The pacing is really good. The twists and turns, the plot, the progression is really good. Nothing felt too rushed, yet nothing felt too like dragged out. It was perfect. I think this is a perfect little romance book if you're looking for one. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And then the last thing that I read that actually DNF'd was The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This book is supposed to be about this girl who ghostwrites for a very, very, very big author, and she needs inspiration to keep writing about romance. I can't remember why I DNF'd it. Obviously I DNF'd it for a reason, because if I literally put a book down and don't want to pick it back up, I personally find a problem with it. I'm gonna try to revisit it though, see where we go from there. From what I know, the pacing's just a little bit weird. It kind of reminded me of The X Talk in the way that like the relatability of like the 20s and 30s kind of age thing is with like the whole adulting thing, but other than that, I'm gonna try to finish it eventually. Currently reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Oh baby, I'm having a time with her. But yes, that is everything I read this past summer. I was on a roll and then I sadly got into a reading slump. That's everything I read this summer. If you guys have any recommendations for me based on what I said, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on these down below. If you've read anything, give me some recommendations. Fall's coming up. I would love some spooky mystery thrillers and just any type of fall feeling books that would be great to read while the leaves are turning colors. So that being said, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye everybody.